Chapter 3. Arrival at Vergus village. The sun hung low on the horizon as Izashi, Caleb, Will, and Terence approached the outskirts of Vergus village. The air was thick with the scent of burning wood, and distant cries echoed through the valley. A plume of black smoke coiled into the sky, a clear sign of battle.
"Looks like we're too late," Will muttered, tightening his grip on his weapon.
Lancelot, standing beside Caleb, nodded solemnly. Not too late, but nearly so.
Koga stepped forward, eyes narrowing as he observed the village's outer walls. The Dark Ones are already here. We must act swiftly.
Izashi clenched his fists, glancing at the others. "We saved one person earlier. Now we save an entire village. No hesitation. We go in."
Terence smirked. Finally, a real fight.
Leonidas and Kerberos stood behind their chosen warriors, their forms shimmering as they prepared for battle. "Remember," Leonidas warned, "our power is strong, but your leadership will determine victory." With a silent nod, Izashi signaled the advance. The group dashed forward, blending into the shadows of the village's entrance. The sight before them was grim. Houses ransacked, villagers fleeing for their lives, and monstrous figures roaming the streets, cutting down anyone in their path. A screech pierced the air as a towering creature, covered in jagged black armor, turned toward them. Its glowing red eyes locked onto the group. More creatures slithered and stomped into view, their grotesque bodies twisting unnaturally.
Caleb unsheathed his sword. "No time for talk. Let's do this."
Lancelot raised his hand, and blue armored knights materialized from the ground. "Summon your units. This battle requires everything we have."
Izashi, Will, and Terence followed suit, their spirit warriors emerging beside them. The battle erupted in a blur of steel, flame, and magic. The Dark Ones fought viciously, their blows shaking the ground, but the warriors and their spirit allies met them head-on, countering with equal ferocity. Will's Spartans locked shields, pushing forward with disciplined precision. Terence's beastly warriors tore into the creatures. Flames licking at their grotesque forms, Caleb fought alongside Lancelot, striking down foes with his blade, while Izashi used his agility to strike from the shadows. Through the chaos, a terrified child's scream caught Izashi's ear. He turned sharply, spotting a young boy cornered by a Dark One. Without hesitation, he sprinted forward, leaping through the air. His blade sliced cleanly through the creature, and he caught the boy before he could fall.
"Get to safety!" Izashi ordered, setting the child down. The boy nodded, scampering away.
A roar broke through the battle. A massive Dark One, nearly twice the size of the others, emerged from the smoke. Its presence sent a chill down Izashi's spine.
Koga appeared at his side. "That one is dangerous. We must work together."
Izashi glanced at his team. "Everyone! Focus on the big one!"
The warriors converged, their spirits guiding them. Caleb's knights clashed with the beast's armor. Will's Spartans blocked its massive blows, and Terence's monstrous warriors clawed at its legs. Izashi darted in and out of range, striking weak points with precise slashes. Finally, Leonidas roared, thrusting his spear into the beast's core. It let out one last agonized shriek before collapsing into a pile of ash. As the battle quieted, the villagers began to emerge from their hiding places, whispering among themselves. An elderly man stepped forward, his face lined with gratitude.
"You saved us," she said, her voice trembling. "Who are you?"
Izashi exhaled, wiping sweat from his brow. "Just travelers."
The woman smiled. Then allow us to give travelers a hero's welcome. As the village erupted into cheers, the warriors exchanged glances. Their journey was far from over, but tonight they had won. And it was only the beginning. That night, the village celebrated in the town square. Tables were filled with food, torches illuminated the cobbled streets, and music played from a group of villagers plucking away at wooden instruments. Children danced, men and women laughed, and for a moment, the horrors of battle seemed distant. Izashi and the others sat at a long table, enjoying the warm meal placed before them. Roasted meats, fresh bread, and fruit filled their plates, an unexpected feast after the chaos they had endured.
This is amazing, Caleb said through a mouthful of food. I don't even remember the last time I ate something this good.
Terrence chuckled. That's because we were dead before this, remember?
Will smirked. Yeah, hard to work up an appetite when you're a corpse.
Despite the humor, Izashi's mind remained restless. He glanced over at Koga, who stood off to the side, arms crossed as he observed the festivities.
You don't eat? Izashi asked, motioning to the empty seat beside him.
Koga shook her head. Spirits do not require food, but more importantly, there is something you should know.
Izashi leaned in, his tone serious. What is it?
Koga's eyes darkened. Antares will not take this lightly. The fact that the Dark Ones were here means he is already reaching beyond his domain. This was a test, a small skirmish compared to what is coming.
Izashi exhaled, looking around at his companions. So, what do we do?
Koga nodded toward the village elder, who was deep in conversation with Lancelot. We gain allies. We build our strength. The people of Vergus village now owe you their lives. Use that. Rally them to our cause.
Izashi frowned, glancing at the villagers. He had never seen himself as a leader, yet here he was, thrust into a war beyond anything he had imagined.
Guess I better get used to giving speeches, he muttered.
Koga smirked. Indeed. And soon, we march toward destiny.
The night carried on, but the warriors remained on edge. As the villagers rejoiced, a lone figure watched from the shadows beyond the village walls. Its crimson eyes gleamed in the darkness before it vanished into the night, its presence unnoticed. Far beyond the village, deep within a mountain fortress, Antares sat upon his throne, his fingers tapping against the armrest. A shadowy figure knelt before him.
They have arrived, my lord, the figure rasped.
Antares grinned, his teeth sharp as daggers. Then it has begun. Let them enjoy their victory. His eyes burned with malice, for soon they will know despair